G'day legends, I hope you're all fantastic. We have the new Boss IR-2 on the bench today. This is a Boss compact pedal size amp modeler and IR loader. You've got everything from their cleaner style amps like the Boss Clean model, the Twin, the Tweed and the Diamond, all the way through crunchy modes up to extreme filth like their RFIER, Soldano and modded amp models. This has stereo outputs and a stereo capable effects loop. You can load up your own IRs using their own IR manager software. It's got a USB-C port to do that, to connect it to the computer, as well as a headphone jack on the back there. There's a bunch of different ways I could imagine using this particular pedal on a pedal board, but we'll start out by just hearing the core amp tones, then I'll give you some rig ideas with it. Let's go. Let's get started by hearing all the individual amp models. I'm playing a PRS DGT going straight into the IR-2. I'm coming out in stereo straight into my audio interface. We will hear some examples later where I build a small board around this using a Boss SD1 and a stereo delay in the effects loop. But for now, I just want to go through these tones on here. I'm going to be using the same IR for everything so you can hear the differences between the individual models. The IR-2 does come packed with some excellent sounding Celestion IRs that are matched to each amp model. For now, let's start out on the neck pickup tapped with the Clean model. My personal preference for the cleaner side of things are those edge of breakup style amps on there, like the Diamond and the Tweed. I really like the BRIT, the Soldano, and that X modded on there for the higher gain stuff. Now, this pedal lets you have two separate channels that are accessible by just pressing the pedal. If you want to bypass the IR-2, you can press and hold that foot switch on there. I think for most people though, they are going to be using this as a stand-in for their amplifier. So just being able to press and change channels makes a lot of sense. Alternatively, you can select channels by using an external foot switch on there. So we've kind of got two ways we could go with this in terms of incorporating it into a live rig. You could set it up as a traditional two-channel amp with a cleaner sound and a dirtier sound, or you could set up exactly the same amp model on each channel with just slightly different settings, like one for your rhythm sound, one for your lead sound, and make the lead sound a bit louder. I should have mentioned as well, with the ambience, you've got a choice for plate, room, and hall. I was using plate on there. I really like the way that sounds, and you can kind of crank it all the way up without it getting too overbearing. So what I'm going to do here is on the red mode, I have got this set up for my kind of slightly gainier than crunch. I'm pretty happy with that as a rock rhythm sound. What I've done is I've set up the other channel basically to sound exactly the same. And what the IR-2 does is it will remember the settings of the knobs per channel. So what I could do is dial in even more gain. I could pull a bit of treble out to smooth it out and maybe add some mid-range and some more ambience in there. I could use this for my lead sound. Alternatively, we could set up that red mode to be one of those cleaner amps and the green mode to be a much dirtier amp. So let's do that. I'll go for slightly less gain over here and I'll play on the neck pickup tapped again. Then I'll just switch over to the green mode and dial that one in. Once I've got them where I like them, I can just switch between them. My personal preference would be to have two variations on the same core amp, which I've set up in here. I've also got a Boss SD1 in front of the IR-2 that I can kick in for a boost. And I've got a Strymon Brig in the effects loop. The effects loop has a TRS jack. So if you've got a stereo enabled pedal and then a stereo cable, you can use the stereo outputs of the IR-2 to pass on that stereo signal, and it will place, in this case, the delays from the Brig after the main distortion from the amp. I could set it up like this. I'm going to go from my kind of very dry red mode on here. I'll switch over to the green mode, which has some ambience and a little bit more gain. I'll boost it with the SD1 and then I'll kick in the Brig. This would be a very versatile, totally giggable rig on my end. Combo of the high gain amps with the SD1 is pretty fun as well if you want some more boosted tones out of this. That's it for today. Hopefully that provides a good overview of the tones on the Boss IR-2 as well as some use cases for it. A big thank you to Ed and the team at Boss for loaning me one of these to make this video. If you like what I'm doing here on the channel and you want to support me directly, there are links to do that in the video description. I will play you all out with one of the cleaner amp modes on the IR-2 with a little bit of the SD1 for some grit and the brig for a nice big stereo delay. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.